I feel like a lot of dietitians, we don't even think of the inmate population needing our services. So when I found out that you worked in the prison system,
I actually see every prisoner that's convicted that's on dialysis in the state of Louisiana. And so they actually have a dialysis center in the prison.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, I have a guy dietitian, so we're just going to jump right into it. So, Germaine, tell us about yourself.
All right, so my name is Germaine Guy, and I'm a registered dietitian in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I've been a dietitian for 5 years now. I specialize in renal nutrition, so dealing with people with end-stage kidney disease.
And especially finding a guy dietitian is few and far between, even though I feel like men are becoming more and more interested in the field of nutrition and dietetics. So definitely to have a male dietitian speaking with us today is a real treat.
I had no idea that field was predominantly female until I got into my first nutrition class, and I was like one of the only men in the class. And I think the other guys that were in the class were like kinesiology majors that have minors in nutrition. So I thought I was going to be in class with a bunch of athletes, guys that are into weightlifting and stuff. I was really blown away by the amount of women in this profession.
Wow. So earlier you mentioned that you do work with individuals that have end-stage renal disease.
Yes.
So tell us, even though that is a very common role for a dietitian to have, you do work in an atypical setting. So tell us what non-traditional setting you work at as a renal dietitian.
The company I work for, they have dialysis clinics all over my city, and it's the predominant company. And when I first got the job, they told me that I was going to be covering 2 clinics, which I do right now. But one is a regular dialysis clinic that's in the community, and the second one, which is a special one, is a dialysis clinic in a prison in Louisiana. So I actually see every prisoner that's convicted that's on dialysis in the state of Louisiana. And so they actually have a dialysis center in the prison.
I feel like a lot of dietitians, we don't even think of the inmate population needing our services. So when I found out that you worked in the prison system, I said, oh, wow, that's quite interesting.
We have a wide range. Most of the people are, they're mostly men. They're not, I find that they're a little bit younger than my patients in my other clinic.
Okay.
And I think I only have like 3 women right now, and it's a lot of people. Like, I think right now we have around 75 inmates that are on dialysis.
So do you have any interaction with the food service staff at the prison system?
Not really, because I'm contracted just to see the dialysis patients. The food service is separate, and that's one of the problems that I have there, because their biggest complaint is the quality of the food.
Right.
And they don't really have a real food service manager. The person that's over the kitchen is a correctional officer, and the prisoners cook the food as well as serve the food. And so I've educated them in the past. I've even had the doctor go with me to the kitchen just to emphasize how important it is for them to follow the renal diet. I've made menus for them, but they kind of do what they want to do over there.
What is the hardest thing? Is like the phosphorus high or the albumin low? What do you find that you're preaching constantly as a dietitian?
That facility, phosphorus, which is probably the hardest thing to control in dialysis patients, is actually really good. And I think it's because they get their medications. They don't have to worry about dealing with insurance and things like that. But the biggest thing right now that's hard to control is fluid, for one, because in their dorms, they don't have air conditioning. So they just have big fans. So it's burning up hot in South Louisiana. So they use water to cool themselves off, as well as drinking ice. And for those who don't know, dialysis patients, a lot of times they lose the ability to urinate, so they can build up fluid really easily. So they have fluid restrictions. So that's a big deal. They also complain about having a lot of fluid in their food, which I tried to educate the kitchen staff on. That's like I said, those inmates that cook the food, they don't have any culinary experience.
Right. Do the inmates receive commissary?
Yes.
How do you tackle that?
Okay, so when I first started working there, I had one of the inmates give me a list of all the foods that they can buy from the commissary. They usually go once a week. It depends on how much money the inmate has. And most of it is junk food. So I just took that list and split it up with the different food groups, and I pretty much just say, here, if you go to commissary, I know y'all gonna get junk, but these are the foods that are gonna be lower in potassium and phosphorus and things like that. So just to make it a lot easier for them, because a lot of them, because they don't like the quality of the food, they eat most of their food from the commissary. And they actually make different things. They call it hookups. So they'll buy like tuna and cheese and all this stuff and just make their own meals and stuff. They're creative.
How do you see the field of dietetics evolving to involve more renal dietitians that work in the prison system?
I thought about that question. I'm pretty sure that there's other renal dietitians in other states. Like that, there has to be. There's going to be dietitians. Renal patients that are prisoners in every state. I know they do have federal prisons in some states that have dialysis centers. So I think it's just gonna be the same. But like in terms of having dietitians that work at a prison and not contracted to dialysis, I'm not sure if that's gonna change or not, because I think most prisons actually just contract dietitians instead of having a dietitian that's like the food service manager.
Right. It's definitely a growing field. It's something that I'm personally interested in. I'm just waiting for it to just spark in my area. So in closing, what is your favorite part about working in the prison system?
I think my favorite part is I feel like it's easier compared to like the other clinics because I don't have to deal with insurance.
How receptive are the inmates to your education?
It's kind of like on the street. Some of them really are into it and some of them are not. But I find like a lot of the new patients, they don't really know a lot about kidney disease. A lot of them don't even know why they're on dialysis. So they are very receptive, like when I go and do my initial education, because they're just curious on why they have all these food restrictions and things like that. And then some of them are actually like really curious about their labs, like they can't wait to see me so they can know how they're doing and they can make improvements. But then you have some that don't even care.
So thank you very much, Germaine, for sharing with us your role in a non-traditional setting. So in closing, tell us the social media handles where we can find you.
On Instagram is Eat Right Guy. So just one word, EATRIGHTGUY. And that's on Facebook, pretty much any kind of social media, I have that same handle, but I'm mostly on Instagram.
Well, thank you very much, Germaine. And remember to comment, like, subscribe. Bye.